we're talking about things like World Economic Forum paying attention to stuff like climate change, and they're going to use a crisis to exact more control over you, right? Controlling your finances, monitoring your finances, your spending habits, where you go, what you do. And them having access to all these things is going to be part and parcel of that. So let's say it's the year 2030 and you decide to, it's March, let's call it 28th. Let's say it's close to the end of the month, right? They're probably going to have monthly quotas under the guise of, oh, carbon credits, or the baby seals are all dying, the icebergs are melting, and, the polar bears have nowhere to swim or to catch their seals, sort of thing. And then you're going to all of a sudden have a limitation on the amount of mileage that you can put on your car. And if you've exceeded the mileage, you can't use your car. So it's March 28th of the year 2030, and you want to go to the grocery store to get some groceries and some food, and your car won't run because you've exceeded your carbon credits. Okay, so now you hop on your bicycle and you ride to the store, you walk to it, because everything's within close proximity, That's how they're encouraging people to live. So you get to the store, you get all your stuff, it's in the buggy, you go to the checkout thing, and she scans your steak and she goes, "Oh, sorry, I can't sell this to you because you've exceeded your carbon credits. You can't have this meat right now. You're gonna have to wait till you reset next month." So they take the steak away from you and they hand you a bag of crickets or bugs or some shit like that are supposed to substitute the protein. Maybe it's a big bag of soy, right? That's the way things are potentially going to go. And they're going to argue because of climate change. They're going to argue because of the next pandemic. They're going to argue because of, I don't know, a Russian hack or whatever it happens to be, that they need access to all this information. So this is why we're taking away your paper money and giving you the digital currency. This is why these safety features are in your car, not so the world will get destroyed, or in case somebody steals a car and we want to shut it down, or we have an OJ Simpson, scenario where we don't want to endanger the public, we want to shut it down. So these are some of the things that I'm starting to see, on the horizon, if you know what I'm saying. It is definitely coming down the road at some point. Ace of Diamonds says, "Thank you for changing my life, doing the work, lost 35 kilograms. That's a lot of weight, dude. Awesome. Read your book, Rolos, loving it. Keep up good work. Thanks, man. Appreciate it." Tommy's in the house saying, "There was a fantastic argument for globalism and elite control by integrating many backward countries in the 20th century. Much harder argument today." See, the thing being with the whole, most people are going to buy into this. And you can tell by the way human beings vote right now. It's the reason why Canada is essentially a lockdown state, because Canadians have voted for liberalism. They voted for Justin Trudeau, the new Democrat Party. Both of these two parties control the majority of the House of Commons in any decision-making whatsoever, which also, conveniently tie into more free shit and handouts and just stay home. Like, there's actually people right now that I'm hearing talk publicly on social media because it's free and they broadcast their shit all the time. I mean, if you want to learn more about the mentally deranged, we used to lock them up in insane asylums back in the day. Now they have a TikTok account. They go make these bullshit fucking videos all day long talking about how awesome stuff is or, complaining about how they don't like certain things. But yeah, like, you get the idea. It's certainly going in such a way that your peers, your neighbors, the people in your country, especially in the West, are voting for bigger government with more control. It's certainly happening in Canada, not so much in the US. Again, I mean, the good thing about the US, you guys are one of the most armed countries in the world, and that should never change. That is an important, it was brilliance on the foresight of whoever wrote that Constitution. I'm not that familiar with American history, the forefathers, whatever they were called. That was brilliant, for them to include that amendment into it, where the public had the right to bear arms. Justin Trudeau, by the way, at any opportunity that he's had available to him here in Canada, has taken that right away from Canadians that are lawful, law-abiding, citizens that acquire their firearms for hunting, for the protection of, farmstead on their property, to deal with varmint, stuff like that. But I think it was 2016 or so, there was a shooting out in the East Coast where some guy illegally acquired a police uniform, a police cruiser. Now, I don't know exactly how good these replicas were, or if they were, the identical ones, and illegally acquired firearms. And he used that tragedy, in fact, to enact new law to take away Canadians' firearms access to buy stuff like that. He's banned certain firearms, as a result of that. And it's like all these crimes, are committed by pieces of shit, but then the people that are law abiding are the ones that are paying for it. And he's using that argument to strip Canadians away from the right to bear arms. So there's all these small little things that happen. I've always say, look, people go, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about, or, you're drawing conclusions, blah, blah, blah. Really? Because if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it has webbed feet like a duck, if it waddles its tail like a duck, it's probably a duck. Okay. I don't have to tell you it's a duck. I could tell you, let me describe an animal for you. It's very tall, lives in Africa, has an extended neck, it has polka dots all over it. It's kind of a yellowy color, and its legs are really strange to the point where it can't bend them. So when it has to drink, it has to spread them apart so far to get its head down low enough to drink water. And you'd be like, that's a giraffe, right? That's kind of like what we're doing here. We're kind of like picking up the breadcrumbs and connecting some dots and seeing what things look like, and then drawing some of those conclusions. So what's the solution to all this? Let me pull this down here. I don't know why I left the Unplugged Alpha brand on the screen there. Take that off. My bad. So what's the solution to all this? Well, the pacification of the West is obviously contributing to it. I was having a conversation, and I didn't make a note to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So I did a video on my channel, and I think it's called The Pacification of the West, if I'm not mistaken. It's old. It's like 4 years old, maybe even 5 years old. But I saw what was happening at the time as it related to men becoming weaker and weaker and making, bullshit choices. And you can't control a strong society. You can't control independent thinking. You just can't. If you want big government, if you want control over your citizens, if you want to enact restrictions and monitor them, you need sheep. So government is essentially engineering, and has been engineering, sheep over the last couple of decades that I've noticed anyway. A lot of people have speculated that the reason why, I think it's something like, in a recent survey, it was definitely in the 20% range, something like 25 to 28% of young men and women today now identify with the alphabet pronoun crowd, the alphabet brigade. And I think that's up till the age of 33 was the group that they were dealing with. Typically in the past with humans, I think the incidence of homosexuality is like very, very small. It's like less than 5% or 3%. In the animal kingdom, it's even lower than that, right? It just generally doesn't happen. But now we live in an environment today where a lot of people identify with pronouns, and they're unclear on whether their gender is male or female. I mean, today in the news media, it's all over Twitter today. They're talking about this Leah Taylor, I think is her name. It used to be a dude that was I think he was ranked something like in it was either the 40s or the 400s as far as like top swimmers, top professional swimmers. It was abysmal. It wasn't even in the top 10. So couldn't compete against biological males, went to go compete against biological females and destroys them all. And it's what they wanted, right? They wanted progressivism. They wanted more inclusivity. They wanted, let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya and all that kind of shit and take care. It's like, that's what they wanted. Now they're upset at the results that they're starting to experience. Okay. So they've been encouraging this behavior. It's why government mandates legislations and laws. Here in Canada, Jordan Peterson was made famous back in the day for speaking out against the compelled speech on pronouns. He's like, no, I'm not going to use pronouns. That's stupid for all of these reasons. It's why the government is mandating legislation to facilitate the pacification of the West, because when the West is pacified fully, it votes for bigger government and more control because it can't think. Low T. I have a video on my Playing to Win series with Dr. Anthony J, who wrote the book Estrogeneration. And this guy's a scientist, very well researched, knows exactly what he's talking about. It's a great book. Again, it's one of the books that I have on my recommended reading list. I think all guys should read it because it gets you clear on the fuckery that goes on with how environmental estrogens are being forced upon us at levels that we've never seen before in history. To quickly recap, it's in toiletries, it's in sunscreens. When you drink tap water, because they can't filter out what women take in with birth control pills and those hormones and the estrogens, they pee them out in the toilet, they go in the water system, they clean out all the poo and the toilet paper and all the debris that ends up in the water, like all the particles. You can't filter out hormones. So those hormones then, as you open up your tap and you drink the water, end up back in your system. And there's a lot of men today. It's why you see a lot of guys today walking around with high-pitched voice and man boobs. There's absolutely no question that the West is being pussified. Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that short clip. If you did, consider supporting the creation of content by checking out my supplement line. Pinned in the top comment below of this video in the comments, there's a link to the unpluggedalpha.com/shop. When you click through, you'll be able to land over here, and the entire lineup is broken down by category that it performs best in: estrogen metabolism, fat burning, your foundational essentials for health, immune health, performance, and testosterone support. If you check out with coupon code ALPHA10, you'll get 10% off on your first order. There's also the option to use the subscribe and save model, where regular shipments will be sent over to you on a regular basis, and that gives you a little bit of a discount, and your supplement facts are always broken down over here. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And again, check out that link. It's pinned in the top comment below in this video. Peace out.